Hello everyone, so today I want to make a video about Odin in the modern day, as he exists now, in perspective as well, to how he existed in the past. Now, what does Odin do? What is his main function across all of his titles and all of his names? His main and central function is to preserve the nine worlds. Or we can call these dimensions, because in their description along the world tree they seem more like dimensions than, planets. And that can get lost in translation as well. Now, he preserves the nine worlds. He walks through, in mythology, he walks throughout all the realms and dimensions to find ways to preserve everything. Preserve everything along Yggdrasil for as long as possible. Now, he knows Ragnarok is going to come. He knows the end is going to come. He knows that Surt is going to ride across that rainbow bridge. That Loki will face Heimdall. Loki will face the one who will kill him as well. But Odin will face Fenrir, and Surt will face Freyr, and all of the gods of destruction, whether they be of ice or of fire, they will be destroyed, but so will all of the gods of Asgard, of the higher plane of consciousness. Now, they will basically meet and destroy each other. Now, two human beings will survive, and Balder will exist in the new reality, in the new existence to come. After this cycle, in the next cycle, Balder will rise, and with a few other gods. But Odin wants to preserve everything for as long as possible. Now, he continuously walks the worlds for this purpose. Now, what we have to keep in mind is that means that he isn't stuck in the past. He's walking the nine worlds now. Odin, the god, the Allfather, Wordwolf as well, as I know him. He's walking the world now, and he isn't stuck on what he used to do. He's constantly serving his function, however that function manifests in the current time. Odin is not bound by time. So we'll write that down. Odin is not bound by time or space, because we're talking about the nine worlds, 9 different dimensions, and which can mean different phases of time and space. Now, this is why we should keep Odin in mind in the present, because a lot of people like to dress up how Vikings used to dress up, or take up names like the Vikings used to have, or basically live a Viking cultural life, or a Nordic cultural life. But I don't think that's necessary to be close to Odin and be close to his cause. Odin wants to preserve the nine worlds always, until Ragnarok. And Ragnarok obviously hasn't happened because there hasn't been an ending to this cycle. So the idea that we have to dress as the ancestors who most worshipped Odin, or where we get most of our Odin lore from, Snorri Snorlason wrote down a lot of it. He was Christian, but he remembered it from his ancestors, from his family in Iceland. But we don't have to dress up like our ancestors. We don't have to live a culturally Nordic or Viking life, just as far as what materials we use, as far as how we speak, what names we have, or what we eat, or the kind of people we associate with. Odin is past our past. He continues into the present, and he'll continue into the future. The being that is Odin, that wants to preserve everything, doesn't require us to dress up. In order to help Odin to be an Odin's man, Odin's son, we have to seek to preserve the 9 realms, because that's Odin's mission. And there are minor missions as far as being a man, being true to one's being true to the people around one, trying to help them. But that doesn't mean that we should shy away from Odin's ultimate goal of preserving everything. Just because we can be the most effective right here in our clan, I guess you could say, in our tribe. That doesn't mean that we should lose the overall goal of preserving everything for as long as possible. And now, being a warrior, this is my view of being a warrior. First of all, it really means being spiritually a warrior, facing one's fears, facing one's anger, facing one's inabilities. But if we're even just talking about a combat warrior, you should always fight for the side which preserves honor, justice, and life, because that's Odin's job, to preserve everything that is. We shouldn't lose sight of that. Just because other people believe other things, that doesn't mean that they should be destroyed, and that Odin wants them to be destroyed. It just means that they have a different perspective on all the different dimensions, and that we have to collaborate with them in order to preserve Odin's mission. And to be an Odin's man is to follow Odin and to preserve everything that he wants to preserve. Now, another thing Odin does is Odin tricks. And you might say, how can a god that preserves and wants to preserve everything, why would he use trickery? Why would he listen to Loki in one ear, as he does in the mythology? Well, in order to achieve any aim that is vast, and that this is a very vast mission to preserve everything for as long as possible, from the forces of ice and fire, Muspelheim, Niflheim, and the associated gods, and Hela, Fenrir, but the gods of chaos. You have to trick people along the way into giving you what you want. You have to trick the forces of destruction, the forces of chaos, and you might even have to trick like good people who have the same aim as you but aren't achieving it in the right way. You have to trick a lot of people, use subterfuge in order to achieve the overall goal. Now, this is what Odin does very well, and all the different stories, and a lot of stories are symbolic. Some of them have dimensional truth and truth about the gods. But these have been some points about Odin, and I hope that you found them informative, because this is kind of how I look at Odin in the modern day. You don't have to dress up, you don't have to change your name, but you do have to preserve the 9 realms, just like Odin wants to. Preserve everything for as long as possible. Thank you very much for watching, and you have a great day.